Some Gardening Experiments by S. Leonard Bastin. Coffee Break Collection 33. Gardening. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Some Gardening Experiments. At a time when Britain is in a fair way to become a nation of gardeners, it may be of interest to introduce to the readers of the Strand a few novelties in which the amateur grower may engage. The early ripening of fruit is often much to be desired. With apples, pears, plums, and similar kinds, this is not a difficult matter. All that is necessary is to select a branch on which the fruit is well set. On the lower part of the bough cut a ring entirely round the stem. By this means the return flow of the sap to the lower parts of the tree is in a measure prevented, and the branch as a whole will be much enriched. It will be found that the fruit on this part will be remarkably fine, and, moreover, will be ripe many weeks before the usual time. No harm will result to the tree if, at the next season, when the bark descends to cover up the space, the union of the two parts is assisted by the cutting of the edges clean at the point of junction. In connection with fruit growing one may introduce a very novel plan of securing big gooseberries. Of course, this fruit contains an immense amount of water, and it is possible to bring about a very large increase in the quantity of the juice. Secure a number of tin lids and place these round the bush, supporting them with bricks or inverted pots. Each little pan is to be filled with water, and the gooseberry branches pulled over so that the tips of the fruit just touch the liquid. The pans are kept regularly supplied with clean water, and the grower will be astonished at the rapidity with which the gooseberries drink up the moisture. Very soon they will reach a monstrous size, which may well be 2 or 3 times that of the fruit grown in the usual manner. For those gardeners who are fond of curiosities, there is perhaps nothing more singular than fruit photography. For this there is no subject so good as the apple. It is only necessary to prepare some paper stencils which anyone may cut out, according to his own fancy. These should be made of fairly thin paper, and may take the form of a portrait, a coat of arms, or other figure. The fruits which it is desired to treat should be as perfect as possible. When they are nearly mature, but before they have turned colour in any way, they should be enclosed in paper bags. Directly the apple has attained to its full size, the stencil must be stuck with pure starch paste upon the cheek of the apple which will get the greatest amount of sun. The skin of the apple should have become fully red before the stencil is removed, when, if all has gone well, it will be seen that there is a very clear imprint standing up against a reddish background. If the stencil should have been washed off by rain, it may be possible to replace it, at any rate during the early stages of the progress. A novel experiment is that of growing 2 hyacinth bulbs together. 2 bulbs are selected which are known to flower about the same time, although in other respects the more diverse they are the better. Each is cut from the crown to the base with a sharp knife in such a way that the central shoot is exposed but not injured. The 2 larger portions of the bulbs are then tied together, the cut portions facing one another. The double bulb is then potted, as shown in the accompanying illustration. If all has gone well, a single stem comes up, while the flower may be blue on one side and pink on the other, according to the colours of the bulbs. The result is highly mystifying to gardeners who are not in the know. The experiment is often carried out by the Dutch growers, and rarely fails if carefully executed. While on the subject of bulbs, it may interest those who like novelties to point out that the roots of the autumn crocus, if placed on a warm mantel shelf, will produce abundance of flowers without any soil or water whatever. The time of year for purchasing the bulbs for this treatment is about August. Some gardeners are very fond of training their plants into all sorts of designs. A standard violet is a novelty which is not really difficult to produce. Violet plants should be secured and potted in the usual manner. One runner from each plant should be selected, and all side shoots of any description pinched away. The runner is trained up to a support, and if only the top bud is allowed to develop, this will presently break into an abundance of flower and foliage, as shown in the photograph on the previous page. There are many interesting possibilities in cactus grafting. These strange plants are curiously tolerant of cutting, and can be fashioned into all sorts of weird shapes. The annexed illustrations show a singular cactus graft, which has been produced in the following manner. The three uprights are formed of rooted portions of Pereschia, a species of cactus which is usually employed as the stock of the graft, whilst the upper portion is a piece cut from the sea urchin cactus. The union between the two plants is quite complete, and it is very likely that this weird specimen will flower. Any florist will supply the rooted Pereschia stocks for grafting, whilst all kinds of cacti may be employed for grafting to the stocks. The only essential point to bear in mind is that to effect a proper union there must be newly cut surfaces facing one another. Until the union is complete, the graft and the stock may be bound together. Some distinctly interesting experiments are possible in connection with the changing of the colours of flowers. Many kinds of white flowers, such as lilies of the valley, hyacinths, narcissi, and almost any variety with a succulent stem, may be altered in this respect. All that is necessary is to steep the freshly cut stems in a strong solution of an aniline dye. Red ink is a good form of one of the brightest of these dyes, and an hour or so after placing the stalks in this material the petals of the blooms will have become vividly pink. The well-known green carnations and similar novelties are produced in this manner, the only difference being the colour of the dye. In conclusion, one may offer a method of preserving roses which in years gone by was commonly adopted. Well-developed buds are gathered, and the cut end of the stalk is dipped in liquid wax until it has completely sealed. Each bud is then wrapped in tissue paper and packed away in a well-fitting box. In this state the buds may be left for months, and when it is desired to expand them, cut away the waxed end and place the stem in water which has been slightly warmed. End of Some Gardening Experiments